we do every day nowadays is completely automatic, right? Brushing your teeth, moving your car, getting dressed. These things are just normally automatic. We don't even think about it. Often at times, we're not even aware certain money habits keep us financially stuck. Did you know that your past could be keeping you poor? Not necessarily because of what happened, but because of how those things that happened changed your view about money. So certain old experiences, memories you had as a child growing up could be the reasons why you are still financially stuck, you're still having a poverty mindset, you're still broke, and you're still not seeing success in your life. Those childhood money traumas needs to be healed. You need to be able to heal these traumas before you can begin to allow wealth and goodness to flow to you. Some of the beliefs you have about money could be exactly what is sabotaging your financial freedom today. But there's good news. The good news is that healing your money trauma can set you on a path to the wealth that you've been dreaming of. And we're going to dive into that in this video. It is time to break free of that poverty cycle, of that poverty mentality, of that wound, those money wounds that are still causing you to bleed even in your adulthood when they are due to past memories from your childhood. Now as an adult, you can no longer afford to have these money traumas unhealed. You need to heal them in order to be able to attract the wealth that you want, in order to be able to attract the success that you want. And again, I'm so big on visualization. I'm so big on manifestation. I'm always practicing this. I'm always practicing gratitude. But the reason most of you are not seeing success in your life is because you keep trying to visualize, but you still have these money traumas. And so even when the universe is trying to bring success your way, you're rejecting it because you're not healed. You're bleeding. You're still financially wounded. In fact, a lot of people do not even talk about money trauma. There are very few people that I've ever heard talk about money trauma. It's a very rare topic of discussion. But today, you're going to understand what money trauma is. So by the end of this video, you're not only going to understand what money trauma is, but you're also going to learn how to heal that trauma. And when you do, trust me, you're going to be able to shift your mindset to a mindset of financial abundance that feels natural, that feels achievable, and would align with who you really are. Maybe you've heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees, and you really have to work hard, and you really have to strive to get every single penny. But take it from me, all those things are lies. Money does in fact grow on trees. You just need to plant the right seeds in order for that tree to grow and the money to fall off that tree. So yes, money does in fact grow on trees. And I did mention a little bit about this in one of my videos, so do check it out. It's this one here. I'll link it up here and you can give it a watch. But I'm here to tell you that money in fact does grow on trees. Planting the right seed is what is going to get you the tree that flourishes with money. And no, you do not need to hustle all the time. You do not need to work so hard all the time to achieve or to gain every single dollar. You don't need to keep hustling. You don't need to keep grinding. You literally have to take these words outside of your vocabulary. Stop saying these words. You shouldn't be hustling. You shouldn't be grinding. These are not positive words, because if you tell yourself you need to hustle for something, you need to work hard for something, guess what? You will keep hustling. You will keep grinding. You will keep having to work hard when others are living a soft life. No, we are not hustling. No, we are not struggling. There are no rewards for the struggle Olympics. So why would you want to engage in this? Just don't do it, right? There are others like myself. We're living a soft life. No, we're not hustling. And there's so many people like that who are living a soft life, right? You don't need to work so hard to get every single dollar. No, you need to position yourself in a way that you're ready to absorb that which the universe wants to bring to you. But in order for you to be able to absorb it, you need to be healthy, right? If you're wounded and you have money trauma, you're unwell, basically. So if you're unwell, how do you receive goodness and keep it with you? You would not be able to sustain it. You would not know, even if it came your way, you wouldn't know how to treat it. So these little phrases, you have to work so hard to get every little penny, money does not grow on trees, money is evil, rich people are greedy. All these phrases, even though they seem like they're harmless phrases, they actually sink deep into your subconscious. They will shape how you think about money and about success. As an adult, you're sitting there wondering, why are you struggling with your finances? Well, there's a reason why. Money trauma creates mental blocks that keeps you in a cycle of financial stress. So you're constantly in a cycle of financial stress because you are mentally blocked from receiving goodness and seeing goodness. And that's what money trauma does, because your mentality and your mind is telling you, you can't achieve goodness and you can't achieve greatness. Imagine now that every single financial decision you've taken in the past was based on a wound from the past, right? Because you're wounded and your past is dictating what your current and future actions are. But again, I'm bringing you good news. You can change this. You can heal this. You no longer have to keep believing these things. You no longer have to live the life that you're living. Because my experience is such that as a young girl who never had it all, but definitely has it all now, I can tell you, if I've done it, you can do it. If I've done it, you can do it. I didn't grow up in London. I didn't grow up here in Europe. I grew up in Africa, in poverty, in places where, we didn't constantly have water, in places where we didn't constantly have electricity, in places where it was just so difficult to live the kind of life that you want. But being surrounded by certain people and certain things made it very difficult for me until I moved from that environment. And that is why, even though you might currently also be in such an environment, that you can change it. You can change it even in whatever environment that you're in. I didn't have this knowledge back then. I didn't have this knowledge back then. I wish I did. I wish somebody would have told me back then as a child that what I was hearing were not true. The things that, your parents, your mom, adults telling you all these things, they weren't true. They're not true. I wish someone would have told me back then, because it would have shaped my mind completely differently at that age, and I would have been a millionaire at the age of 18. I'm not even kidding you. Because these things that we are fed as children really gets to us, and we tend to carry it on from our childhood into adult life. And some of you might still be in that situation. You don't need to keep living in that situation. I don't know where you're watching this video from, whether you are in India, you're in Africa, you're in the Philippines, you're in Argentina, you're in the States, you're in Canada, wherever it is that you are, you can change your situation, because I'm telling you, you are in the right place and at the right time. You just have not heard the good news till now. So I'm bringing you the good news. You have finally heard the good news. Heal your money trauma and set yourself apart from the rest of the world. You can be the one bringing generational wealth to your family, right? So stop saying things like, we come from a line of poverty, my family is poor, my family has never been able to achieve this, my sister is better than me, nobody ever prospers in our family, nobody has ever been to school in our family, built their own home in our family. Stop saying these things and begin to realize that you can be the person that breaks that generational curse. If you really believe there's a curse, you can break it. Break that cycle of poverty mentality and poverty mindset. What really shocks me after living in London for about 3 years is the number of people I see, the number of Africans, or I would say first generation Africans, that were either born here or came to London, came to England when they were very young. So these people, Africans that moved here when they were really young, like at the age of 6 or 8, 9, 12, or were even born here because their parents moved here, I can't believe the number of people that are still not able to achieve wealth and success. How are you living in London? You were born in this country, you were born in this city, you grew up here, and you don't even have a couple of zeros to your name. How is that possible? So I'm really here to encourage you that if you are such a person, stick around this channel, stick around this community, because we are moving ahead. And I'm dying to see other women of color, other Black people in business class flight, right? I'm dying to see other Black people in some of the high-end places and luxury places I go to. And whenever I go to a high-end place and I see someone That's my color, that's got my hue. I get so excited. I'm like, yes. I'm so happy and so thrilled whenever I see a person of color in some of these really, really high-end places. I did not once see a black person in any of the business flights I took within Europe this year. I mean, I'm pretty sure some people do, right? But there isn't a frequency. I want to see more people. Obviously, when I'm going back to Africa, it's a different story. I'm always happy to see others who are flying, business class or first class going back home. If you ever see me on a flight, say hi. But yes, life has been good and life can be good for you too. I used to fly economy, okay? I'm not shy to say it. I used to fly economy and I thought it was a good thing. I even flew economy, premium economy as well. But yeah, no, different experience when you fly business class. It's just like relaxing, you're feeling good. The thing is, once you begin to experience these things, you can't go back. You can't go back. So somehow you begin to work and live in such a way that you can continue to afford these things. It's like you're tricking your brain to say that I've got the money, I've got the resources, I can pay for this thing. So you trick your money to say that you're rich, and then you continuously, because right now I can't even tell you how how it is happening, but it's like, what do you call it? It's just like snowballing, and how is this happening that I'm doing all these things now? Like, I wish I knew this 10, 15 years ago. Only somebody had told me that I can do this and I can do that, I would have done it. So listen, that's why I'm telling you, listen to me. I don't know where you live. If you want us to have a one-on-one consultation, I'm more than happy to talk to you, to discuss what your goals are, what your dreams are, what your vision is, how you can manifest where it is you are. You don't have to be just in London. Anywhere that you are, you can make money from. You can make money there. I did not know this. But at the same time, you need to know that certain environments provide certain resources. And again, it really does shock me, right? When I see people, really anyone, whether they are this hue or a different hue, I'm like, how did you grow up in London and you don't even have a driver's license yet? How you grew up in London that you don't even have your own home? You don't even have wealth to your name. London is a place full of, there are literally 97 billionaires in London. 97 billionaires in London and a plethora of millionaires in London. A plethora. How are you not one of them? How is it that people are coming outside of the UK, coming into the UK and building wealth for themselves, and you're still struggling? If you've especially just arrived in London, in the UK, I want us to be friends. I'm dying to teach people how to make it as well. And that is one of the reasons I started with this channel, because trust me, I'm so busy with life. I have a full-time corporate career and here I am making videos. The thing is, I want someone, even if it's just one person, to benefit from the knowledge that I have, because I really didn't have money. I didn't have money, and now I do. Not only do I do, but I'm enjoying spending it. I'm living my life. I'm enjoying my life, and it's just going great. Now, let's get back to the topic. Money trauma is the emotional and psychological impact that money has had over our lives. Think about it. Any money trauma you've had is either the emotional or the psychological impact that money has had over your life. So maybe you grew up in a family where, like I was saying before, things were very tough. There was a lot of arguments around bills, and the family, parents, everybody arguing about bills, when bills will be paid, something not being paid, arguments over things breaking, and then very, very trivial things, right? And hoarding stuff, and just, goodness, you can't even break a plate because there's gonna be we can't afford to buy another plate, we can't afford to buy another pan, and it's just like life just gets miserable because of those money traumas older folks had, and then also it's this thing on my microphone just turned off, so I had to just give it a bit of a juice for a little bit. What I was saying earlier was that money trauma is the emotional and psychological impact that money has had over us over time, right? Now, you might come from a family where everything is tight. There's arguments over bills. The family is always constantly arguing over bills. There's arguments over the little of things, especially in a family where constantly hear things like money is hard to get, you need to work hard. These things are not true. Lie. You don't believe these things. When you carry these beliefs, they silently influence your actions, the daily actions you take. Because of the subconscious beliefs that you have about money, they silently influence your actions. So you don't even realize that You are influencing your daily actions, your daily financial goals because of these things. And I'm sure some of the things that you might be doing would be, things like avoiding checking your bank account. You're afraid to check your bank account. You splurge and spend when you shouldn't, and then you try to use that to feel better. So you try to do a bit of a retail therapy. You think that's going to help you feel better, but it actually just makes you feel worse. You also avoid trying to make investment plans, and because you think it's overwhelming, so you avoid doing these things, and that's because of the money trauma you have, right? So just think about it. If you think that you need to splurge in order to feel better, you have a money trauma, because it only ends up being worse off from before you started splurging or spending. If you think it's overwhelming to financially plan your goals and to create an investment plan, that's because you have a money trauma. The thing about money trauma is that it can make financial freedom seem impossible to achieve. And the thing is, money trauma doesn't just affect your bank account. It can also impact every area of your life. Whether it's relationship or health, money trauma can also negatively impact your relationship and your health goals or your health plan. For instance, the type of partner you choose in a relationship has a huge impact on your financial future and your financial goals. Are you partnering up with someone who has a poverty mindset? Are you partnering up with someone who hasn't also healed from their money trauma? And this is probably something that we need to discuss in the future as well. So maybe I'll put it down as one of the videos to look into in the future. Let me know if you would like to know more about how money and money trauma can impact your relationships. Essentially, because of the impact of money trauma on several areas of your life, it can lead to anxiety and stress and constantly feeling lack, right? You're not having progress in whatever it is that you're doing. You're constantly stressed, you're constantly unsure, and you're just not able to move ahead in life. But when you are able to let go of money trauma, you will notice a shift in how you approach life itself, because you're no longer bleeding, you're no longer hurting, you're no longer in pain. So you see life differently, and your approach to life is quite different. Your approach to your health is different. Your approach to your relationship is different. Your approach to money and success is different. Because, for example, some people might decide not to go work out for the benefit of their health because they're waiting to have a gym membership. Waiting to have a gym membership first before you can, work out and get healthy. That is certainly not the right mindset to have. And there are certain signs that can tell whether you have money trauma or not. For example, you have the fear of checking your bank account. Thought of seeing how much or how little you have in your bank account is paralyzing. So if that's the case, you have money trauma. Impulse spending to feel better. If you have the need for a fix when it comes to splurging and spending. And the third time you might have that shows you have a money trauma is that you avoid financial planning. You avoid setting or creating sound financial plans, investment plans for your future. The truth is, people who struggle the most with money are most often the ones not thinking about money. They do not think about money. They even avoid thinking about it, and they don't even talk about it, right? But the rich people, on the other hand, they think about money. They don't only think about money, they also talk about money, right? But there are differences. There's an arrogant person who is rich that constantly talks about money, and there's a humble person that's rich that also talks about money, but knows when to be quiet about it. But a person with a poverty mindset just never really talks about money. Like, the idea of talking about money seems like a taboo, or they just completely avoid thinking about it. So if you're not thinking about money, well, it's not going to come to you. It's not going to bring you prosperity. It's not going to bring you the success that you need or want in all areas of your life. And I know it sounds crazy, but then it's not their fault for thinking this way. It's not their fault for avoiding thinking about money. It's a coping mechanism they develop to protect themselves. Because money trauma is all about negative feelings, negative memories that you have about money. Whenever you spend, you're just so unsure. So why am I spending? Why am I buying this thing? You have this fear and this anxiety whenever you spend. That's because you have money trauma. And then you regret when you buy or when you make purchases that you can't actually afford. And these emotions are tied to our past experiences, and they are often things you can't even remember directly. They shape your beliefs about money and keep you stuck in patterns that hold you back all the time. Now let's talk about the power of healing money trauma. Now, healing money trauma is not about the amount of money in your bank account. It's not just about having more money in your bank account. It's about freeing yourself from the limitations of fear, of shame, of anxiety. Think about how different your life would be if you think about money with excitement rather than with dread. So instead of thinking about dread when you think about money, think about excitement. Go looking into your bank account because you're excited to see what's in there. You're excited to see if an uncle sent you something, a friend sent you something that you completely forgot, money that you weren't expecting came in. If you're an entrepreneur, you got in sales or something, big chunk of money that's coming that you were not expecting. Look into your bank account with excitement. Check your investment with excitement. Don't go looking and say, have I lost the shares? Have I lost the money? Look at things, especially your bank account, with excitement. And ultimately, the journey to abundance starts when you decide to let go of those limiting beliefs and really bad and old money stories. Here's how you do that. 1, you need to identify the beliefs you have about money. Spend some time thinking about the messages you heard growing up. Do you believe money is the root of all evil? Or maybe you're just not good with money. 2, you need to recognize patterns from your past, because our past experiences leave deep marks. Did you grow up in a household where money was always tight, or where people argued about bills and all that? Recognize how your past influences your current money habits. This is not about blame. This is understanding where these patterns come from so you can address them and so you can work on them and then release them. I'm a firm believer that your past gives you the power to rewrite your present and future money story. Your old money story should be different from your new money story. Whatever situation you're in now, take a moment and ask yourself, is this really my story? Is that really your story? Or is it just one that you've inherited? Something that has been trickled down from, parents, and then it's come down to you and you've inherited it. Have you inherited a poor mindset? Have you inherited a poverty mindset? Challenge those beliefs. Really think about those beliefs and challenge it. Question those thoughts. Why isn't it okay to have a lot of money? For example, if you started investing rather than spending. So think about all the things that you think are good money habits. Try them out for like a week, 2 weeks, a month, and then try the new money habits. Try them out for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and see how they differ. See where you get success and see where you attract more good things and luxury into your life. Number 3, you definitely need to visualize a new money story. Visualize a new money story, something that is so new in a world where you basically have everything that you need. Feel the emotions that come with it, right? The gratitude, the joy, the happiness, the security, the time, the freedom. Feel the emotions that come with this new story and this new world that you live in. And I can guarantee you this shift from scarcity to abundance will start to change how you approach money daily. Number 4, practice mindful spending. Start paying attention to how you feel whenever you're spending money. Are the things you're buying bringing you joy? Are they bringing you stress? Begin to pay more attention to those things and start building the habits that align with the type of life or the kind of life that you are manifesting. Now, the most important piece of advice that I can give you, if you did not take anything from this video, this is the most important one you need to pay attention to. Forgive your past financial mistakes. Forgive yourself for any past financial mistakes. Your money story doesn't need to define your future story. Whatever it is that's happened in the past, let it go. So you invested in a business that did not work out. You gave a family member money that did not work out for whatever it is that you wanted them to use the money for. You put money somewhere that you thought was going to grow but has not grown. You made certain mistakes. Whatever that mistake was about that money, let it go. Stop living in it. Stop sitting on that past mistake. Forgive yourself and move on. Move on, because there's abundance. There's so much waiting for you to receive, to have, and to partake in. So if you're stuck on these old and past money stories and mistakes, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to experience true wealth, and everything is just going to pass you by. We've all done it. Most of us have done it. Literally, there are very few people who don't have past money regrets or past money stories. They will tell you they had to fail several times. Some people have lost $500,000, 1 million to millions, everything. They had to start building up again. So whatever it is you've lost, $10,000, £2,000, whatever it is, let it go. Let it go. Because when you let go of regret, guilt, and shame around money, you are now creating space for abundance. Abundance cannot come and settle in a place filled with guilt, filled with shame, and filled with regret. So when you forgive yourself, you're now taking a step closer to becoming richer. It might be a small step, but it's a really good step to getting you to a richer lifestyle. Next time you're visualizing, just picture yourself letting go of all that money regrets, letting go of all and any money mistake. Just put yourself in that space and embrace a new chapter with confidence and clarity. Let it sink in, let it go, and visualize a new space, a new you with confidence, a new you with clarity, a new you with luxury, a new you with riches, a new you with abundance flowing to you, chasing you. Because ultimately, the act of forgiving yourself for your financial past is like cutting the chain holding you back from wealth. And I promise you, it can be the turning point toward financial freedom. If this video resonated with you, I'm happy that you are on a journey of healing your money trauma. In my next video, I am going to talk about how to actually fix your money trauma, because there's a difference between healing your money trauma and fixing your money trauma. Because you can heal your money trauma, but if you don't fix the scar that's left, sometimes the wounds can open up. And some of these wounds open up when people are introduced into your life. And you have to be very, very careful, because you have the wound, you have the trauma, you've healed, but sometimes it doesn't heal fully. Sometimes the scar is still there. And depending on whom you allow into your life, these wounds can open up again to start bleeding again. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about how to fix your money trauma so that you never go broke. I have a whole formula. So we're going to look into the practical steps you can take to break free of these cycles and attract abundance like never before.